Two sides embroiled in an unexpected Premier League relegation dogfight. Lock horns at Molineux on Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. kickoff. Wolves take on West Ham. Lopetegui's side were knocked out of the League Cup by Nottingham Forest in midweek, while West Ham recently overcame Brentford 1-0 in the FA Cup third round. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. This is your match preview for the game against Wolves. If you are new around here, please make sure you go and hit that subscribe button. Give the channel some much needed support. Why not? That really would help us out, of course. On top of that, if you're interested in becoming a channel member, you can click on the membership option as well. There's an option that says join. Give that an option and see what you want to do. There's a thumbs up. Click the thumbs up option. That will just give us a little helpy cheeky hand with the internet, the World Wide Web, you name it, everything. So just hit the thumbs up and leave a comment as well. Please leave a comment, give us your honest feedback. We do try our best to get back to everyone. It's really tough because there's loads of comments, which is nice, but please leave a comment as well. Anyway, like I said, this is your preview. It's short, sharp, straight to the point, and only a few days after the VAR Fury took over Wolves' manager, the Wolves saga at their FA Cup situation against Liverpool. The Molineux outfit suffered penalty shootout heartache in their quarter-final with Nottingham Forest. Now, Willy Boley, obviously formerly of Wolverhampton Wanderers, put Nottingham Forest a goal ahead against his former club before Raul Jimenez levelled from close range. But Ruben Neves and Joe Hodge both missed from 12 yards in the shootout to hand Nottingham Forest the golden ticket to the semi-finals. And ugly scenes did take over from the melee broke out on the field, but with a place in the final for now a distant dream, Wolves must dust themselves down and turn their attention to the daunting run of fixtures, which starts with West Ham on Saturday, Liverpool then twice, and Man City in the space of a few weeks. Now, the last Premier League contest ended in a 1-1 draw with Aston Villa, which did help their efforts to stave off the relegation as they remain in 19th place in the standings, 1 point worse off than West Ham in the safety of 17th place. Now winless in 4 successive matches under the current manager, Wolves have also gone on an unwanted 4-game Premier League losing run at Molineux to correct, which, while they have only scored a division low 5 goals on their own surface this season as well. So something for West Ham to look at there. Now, there's been little movement in at Wolves recently in the transfer market, but they do have quite a few injury concerns. Pedro Neto, Boubacar Traore, Kalajdzic and Chiquinho are all still sidelined. A few alterations will certainly occur for the hosts as Max Kilman and Hugo Bueno returns to the back line, while Neves is sure to take his place in the engine room despite his recent penalty woes. A first start from the Wolves came the way of the Atletico Madrid loan player Mateus Cunha, who came off the bench to set up Jimenez's equaliser at the City ground. We're also hearing that Diego Costa could be missing for the hosts as well. So that is something also to keep an eye on. But let's just move on to our club, West Ham. Perhaps people could say on borrowed time at the London Stadium, David Moyes seemingly bought himself a few extra hours to turn the West Ham fortunes around after gleaming revenge on Brentford with a narrow FA Cup triumph at the weekend, only 8 days after suffering a 2-0 loss to Brentford in the Premier League action as well. West Ham struck through Said Benrahma. What a fantastic goal in the 79th minute to get the better of the keeper at the Brentford Stadium, and in doing so set up a 4th round trip to Derby County. And before any pipe dreams of silverware can materialise, West Ham have a lot of business to contend with in the Premier League, of course, where we're hovering just above the relegation zone in 17th place after playing out a 2-2 draw against Leeds United last Wednesday, where a lot of people said that was stopping the rot. And holding Leeds to a point ended West Ham's miserable 5-game losing run in the Premier League, but our winless streak at the top flight now stands at 6 matches, and it has been as long as 7 contests since David Moyes last won away from home in the Premier League, beating Aston Villa at the end of August. Yes, you have heard me right, at the end of August. Goals from Gianluca Scamacca and Jared Bowen made West Ham win the last time out against Wolves at the London Stadium back in October, which marked West Ham's 4th win from our last 5 meetings with the hosts on Saturday, who triumphed in the other battle at 1-0 in Molineux last season. So when it comes to team news, as for West Ham, Vladimir Coufal, who sustained a terrible knee injury thanks to Somerville against Leeds last week, and his petition is up, his participation in this game is up in the air as he missed the win over Brentford in the FA Cup. Now, Alfonso Areola, a little bit of doubt over him because he picked up a little bit of a hip injury, but we'll have to wait and see what David Moyes says in his press conference. Manu Lanzini also picked up a little bit of a knock as well for that game. We know the situation with Max Cornet. He has a calf problem. It's going to take a little bit longer, and hopefully it's not going to be as long as maybe what some people are potentially anticipating with that situation. But the concern really falls in our strike force. Now, today, what I've heard from a medical expert, his name's Ben Dinnery, speaking to a Football Insider, and he said that the fact that Scamacca was sent for a scan on his minor knock means that the sinister injury cannot be ruled out. He said Moyes spoke about the setback, and ultimately it was a challenge that opened up Scamacca's knee, and it all depends on how he responds to treatment and rehabilitation in the build-up to the Wolves match. And at the moment, we can't rule out an injury being more serious or more sinister than initially thought. And as tests continue, you can never be 100% sure. And then another thing to be concerned about is the fact that West Ham posted a video from training ahead of the Wolves clash earlier this week, and there was no sign of Scamacca. There's no guarantees. That means he's not going to be available for the game, but he was not visible for it. And Moyes notoriously likes to keep team news and injury news close to his chest, as that does leave the opposition team guessing. But there is no guarantees on the Scamacca situation, but sometimes you start to put in the situation and try and work out and come out with your own answer. And there is some concerns there, and that would be really disappointing for West Ham if he was not able to make this big clash. This is a huge clash for West Ham. Let's not beat about the bush. Now, if he's not available, what does that mean? Do we give the faith into Mickey Antonio, who again this week's been linked to a move to the club that we're playing this weekend, Wolves? I've done a story on it, so you can let me know your thoughts ahead of that game. But if it is going to be Antonio, then he's going to need to step up. I've been sometimes his biggest fan, but also his biggest critic. And 9 times out of 10, when he gives us and fans become critical of Mickey Antonio, he steps up to the plate. The biggest thing I'm noticing is he's not really been doing that a lot recently. Now, the criticism comes on when he has to back up Scamacca on the field, and he's lacking that intensity. He's lacking the hold-up play. He's lacking holding onto the ball. And that's the concern for me. So it's all about team selection. It's all about, making sure we have that consistency in the team selection. That's why we really want Scamacca to be available for the game. Now, there could be some positive news that'll come from the situation, and that could mean that this could be the first time we're going to see Zouma and Aguerd start in the game today. Now, what we do know about Zouma is he has been training with the first team squad. He should have been back a lot earlier, but he did have a virus, so that did scupper any plans to play the 2 players together. Now, that would be a huge boost for West Ham. Game-changing boost, in my opinion. If you have Zouma and Aguerd starting in our back line, that would be huge for West Ham. Huge for West Ham season and huge for West Ham. But we all know the biggest concern for us is moving forward and putting the ball into the back of the net. Our goal-scoring form hasn't been on form this year, so that's what we need to turn around for this game, and we need to start with the game on Saturday. So now I'm going to ask for your predictions. Put it in the chat. Right, this is a big, big match for both West Ham and for Wolves. Jared Bowen put out his war cry today. He said that we need to take the game to them. We need to show the intensity from the start. We all know that. We need to see it. We need to see what you're practicing, what you're saying coming out of your mouth, and practice it on the field. give us a job, show the fan base that you can go to a ground like Molineux and turn a team like Wolves over and do it convincingly. We're looking for, yes, okay, in a nutshell, we want the 3 points, so just get the win by all means necessary, but we want a convincing performance to come with it. I think we can do it. Yes, you know I'm a half glass full West Ham fan. I've seen improvements over the last couple of weeks, or week, I should say. All depends on team selection and who can be in and who can't be in. But I'm going to go for a very edgy 1-0 win to West Ham. Very edgy 1-0 win to West Ham. We'll take that now. We'll push ourselves up the league. That's what we need to do. Keep that momentum going. That's the key point here. Avoid defeat, but get the 3 points. I get we need to avoid the defeat, and people and Moyes sometimes thinks conservatively we're away from home going into the Everton game at home. But we need to make sure we get the 3 points, walk away with the 3 points for this game. Anyway, that's the end of the preview. Hope you've enjoyed it. Like I said, if you're new around here, please subscribe to the channel. That really does help us out. And here's a little cheeky word from our sponsors. Come on, you Irons.
Thank you.